Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable. XLRI presents MaggieSpeak, 4th Father McGrath Memorial Program in association with CNBC TV 18.
Welcome to the 4th edition of MaggieSpeak, Father McGrath Debate Memorial Program, an initiative by XLRI alumni in association with CNBC TV 18. XLRI recently celebrated the success of the Father McGrath Memorial Debate at the Bangalore International Centre. With 260 teams participating, the event showcased remarkable intellectual engagement and prowess, eventually narrowed down to the final 4 teams. Organized by the XLRI alumni, this event underscores their commitment to fostering intellectual rigor. The event's theme, Technology Companies and AI Governance, spurred heated debates among the 4 teams. These teams presented arguments both for and against the notions, with distinguished jury members evaluating their performances.
It is so wonderful to have each one of you here with us today to celebrate Father McGrath and his extraordinary life of love, joy, and service, and to discuss and debate the defining topic of our times, artificial intelligence and its governance, and ideate for a responsible way forward. The Father McGrath Memorial Program is an initiative of the XLRI batch of 1987, designed with the objectives of generating debate and thoughtful discussions on areas related to better corporate governance and responsible leadership. This effort takes the vision of our beloved alma mater XLRI for the greater good forward.
The event commenced under the guidance of Sarith Nair, Corporate Relations Head at XLRI Bangalore. The inaugural debate featured Team Socrates Sirens from XIME Bangalore and Team Excellers from XLRI Jamshedpur. The debate topic was the perceived threat of technology in the hands of private firms compared to government control. Here are the key highlights from the debate.
Now let me just call on the leader of the opposition.
When technology is wielded by private firms, the pursuit of profit often takes precedence over the corporate common good of man. In the relentless drive for market dominance, shareholder value, and profit gains, don't you think ethical considerations are being set in the setbacks, and it is being sacrificed at the altar of economic gains? We have witnessed the commodification of our data, be it personal data, erosion of our privacy, or even amplification of social inequalities, all at what? In the name of corporate practices? So private firms, driven by the imperative to increase their profits, have the technological prowess to evade from the regional and evade from the regulatory systems and scrutinies, and consolidated unprecedented control over our lives. The unchecked power technology corporations has the potential to undermine the very democratic values we hold close, as decisions that shape our technology and our lives are being made behind the closed boardrooms today. And this is what shapes the future for tomorrow.
Later in the evening, the second round of the debate featured another intriguing topic, technology, a democratizing force in India, with Team Athena from IMT Ghaziabad facing off against logic legends from MDI Gurgaon.
Democracy stands on a few pillars and a fundamental notion that access to information, access to factors of production, access to liberty, equality, fraternity, access to information pertaining to legislative, executive, access to a free and fair judiciary system, and access to a free and fair press, which further demonstrates the fact that proper dissemination of free, fair, and unbiased and unadulterated information. These are pillars of democracy. All of this is perpetuated by advent and growth of technology. Let us now delve into some facts and explore each piece of the puzzle in detail. Coming to healthcare, technology, as quoting Narendra Modi from a recent article, technology has met with a human touch in India. Ayushman Bharat, which is one of the largest public health insurance schemes in the world, which insures about 200 million families and 600 million INR, that is fundamentally based on technology.
A rather bizarre and fabricated video created by AI deepfake technology showing the Prime Minister of our country surfaced on the internet and took it by storm. Following this, the Prime Minister himself expressed his deep concerns over the possible pitfalls of such technology and the irreparable damage that they can do to our social fabric. You don't believe it? Well, just imagine the dire consequences had the video been showing a religious or a political angle or a sensitive issue fabricated in the worst way possible, especially in a highly diverse country like India, where sentiments run so deep. In the last decade or so, AI-powered services and delivery portals have become an integral part of people's lives. The government's Digital India campaign is an example of the rising importance of services. Despite this push towards the adoption of technology, lack of access to hardware and lack of know-how is causing the exclusion of many in India. To put this into perspective, I would like to quote the India Inequality Report 2022 by Oxfam, which stated that approximately 70% of the Indian population has poor or no connectivity at all to technologies, and more than 60% of Indian households remain digitally illiterate.
XLRI presents MaggieSpeak, 4th Father McGrath Memorial Program in association with CNBC TV 18. XLRI presents MaggieSpeak, 4th Father McGrath Memorial Program in association with CNBC TV 18.
Welcome back to the 4th edition of the Father McGrath Memorial Program MaggieSpeak, an initiative by XLRI alumni in partnership with CNBC TV 18. Later in the evening, Ritu Singh of CNBC TV 18 moderated a discussion with a diverse panel of experts exploring the transformative impact of AI on both society and industry. The panel delved deep into what businesses need to do responsibly to navigate the influence of generative AI.
In the last 6 months or so, I'm sure all of us have had a crash course of sorts in generative AI, even if we were the least bit interested in it, because who hasn't heard of ChatGPT or Bard or DALL-E and so on, right? So it was sort of brought upon us, and the idea that, you don't need to have a Java or a Python or a C++, that the world's most popular programming languages could be English, they could be Hindi, they could be Chinese. I mean, that idea is very exciting. Of course, we'll have to see how that is executed. Let me reintroduce the panel to you. At the very end there, we have Ankit Bose, who's the head of data and AI at NASSCOM. Then we have Suprabhata Devnath, who's the co-founder and CTO of Neural Garage. On my right is Fatima Said, the executive vice president at Standard Chartered India. And then we have Dr. Sarayu Natarajan, who is the founder at APTI Institute. Gentlemen, ladies, thank you very much for being here and for talking to us about this. Dr. Sarayu, if I'll start with you. Just briefly for the audience, what is all this fuss about generative AI, and how is it different from what we've had so far versus machine learning? Is it really the game changer it's being made out to be, or is it just early days for us to make all these statements?
Thank you for that question, and it's absolutely a pleasure to be here. I think there are some things about generative AI that are distinctive from what I suppose one could call the previous generation of AI. What generative AI does is particularly have the ability to generate any kind of content. It could be information, it could be text, it could be images, it could be video. So it has capability to generate, and therefore
Beyond
it is called...
our assignments, right?
Yes. No comments. But it has the capability to generate content for consumption, for any other purpose. What it does is that it reduces the cost of content production to close to zero.
Would you like to add on?
So if you see AI as a technology, right, which has emerged since 1950. So Alan Turing first themed machine intelligence, okay? From then till now, right, till the time I think GPT was out in the open, it was limited to niche folks who had that understanding of that whole, data cleansing, AI and usage, right? When the GPT came out, in fact, GPT-3 and others were there for the last 3 years. But again, when the wrapper around GPT as a chat which came out, this was given in hands of normal people, normal users, right? Now, what did normal users do? They started playing with it. Playing for creating content, playing for creating stories, poems, love letters, right? So all of that, right? So that's what it gave them. Now that expanded to the image, right? People started generating images for their content. People started generating audios, right? And then it basically gave that edge, democratized way to everyone. Now, from the lens of a data scientist and a data engineer or a data architect, you give this power to anyone and everyone, right? Now, if I want to teach you how to build an app, right? It will take not more than 2 weeks to build an app which is a wrapper around, the APIs of GenAI or GPT, right? So it's so simple these days, right? So it has democratized. So it has given that power back in the hands of people. Now it is with us, right? As humans, we have to be cognizant and responsible. Like Spider-Man said, right? The bigger the power, the bigger the responsibility, right? So it's with us how we use it, how we deploy it, right?
So let me ask you, in the last 6 months alone, since this popularity of generative AI is really, shot through the moon, how has life changed for you? Because, you're not the first time user of technology. It existed in your life before. But how have last 6 months changed business for you?
So the biggest thing that we have seen is that we as creators of the technology can only think of a limitation of use cases, a limited set. But when this goes in the hands of creators, they've been able to come out with use cases that we have not even thought about. And those are much more innovative, and even from a business standpoint, they made a lot of sense. So the thing that Ankit talked about before, that giving technology in hands of people who are creators enables them to technology to be seen as enablers, just filling in the gaps wherever necessary. Because people who develop the technology, they often have a very bottom-up approach, trying to find what solutions fit the answer that I have found. But often asking the right question sometimes gives you the right result.
But Fatima, tell us, in the world of banking that you're so closely involved with, how has generative AI changed the nature of the game? I mean, we know you all work with a lot of data, whether it is fraud reporting, whether it's assessing creditworthiness of a customer or detecting early signs of delinquency, etc. But how has life changed in the last 6 months for you as someone in the field of finance?
We've seen in the banking sector, AI was always there. It is just not in the last 6 months, right? Whether it is video KYC, assessing the creditworthiness of the customer, or fraud detection, like you rightly said, right? It has been there for a while now, right? But the bigger aspect of generative AI is the responsible AI committees that has been created when we try and onboard these vendors to provide solution, or when you build these solutions, right? What are the railguards that you want to create within the industry or within the bank, or you want to comply with the regulatory requirements so that you're making the right decisions? You're just not creating this solution for a market or for your customers, but you're also being responsible enough to do the right things, right? You should be able to describe your decisions. You should be able to look at the outcome of the decisions and say, yes, I stand by it. So that awareness is much more. Though it has been in the industry for a while, but people are more aware of it, is what I understand.
What, to your mind, are the top, say, 5 skills that will be the most relevant or the most essential for the jobs of the future?
I don't know about top 5, but I do have a top 1, and I think that's what I think is ethics, our legal frameworks, our appreciation of democratic systems.
I would say it is the domain skill. Yeah. Do you know the domain in which you operate? Then you can learn technology. Technology is never difficult to learn. You understand the context, then you do the right things. You create solutions based on the domain that you work on. I think that's going to be the most important thing.
I think the best thing to bet on is, the ability to unlearn and relearn.
Yeah.
Because one thing that happens very much is that, you've learned a set of systems and stuff, but because it's changed so fast, you try to adopt to the new system using a projection of what you learned.
Where India majorly scored under is on research. We don't have neither the fundamental research, neither the applied research, right? As we should have. So the most important goal, I think, as Indians is we should inculcate that habit of doing research, right? As students, they have a chance now. They can go for PhD, find a topic, and go deep on that, right?
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being wonderful panelists, and thank you all for patiently listening by. It was a pleasure speaking with all of you. Thank you. Thank you.
XLRI presents MaggieSpeak, 4th Father McGrath Memorial Program in association with CNBC TV 18. XLRI presents MaggieSpeak, 4th Father McGrath Memorial Program in association with CNBC TV 18.
The culminating and the most captivating discussion of the 4th installment of the Father McGrath Memorial Program, MaggieSpeak, awaited the enthusiastic audience. They eagerly anticipated the ultimate debate between the winners of the first 2 rounds, excellers from XLRI Jamshedpur and logic legends from MDI Gurgaon. The focal point of the debate revolved around the notion that self-regulation by corporations and government falls short, asserting that a supranational entity is imperative for the regulation of artificial intelligence. Let's explore some key moments from the final debate.
We need a unified global approach. And just like the United Nations, the UN, as we all know, serves as a supranational entity for international cooperation, a similar body for AI governance is imperative. To grasp the urgency of this matter, let's consider the current state of AI regulation. While individual countries and corporations have taken steps to address AI-related challenges, the lack of a cohesive global framework has resulted in fragmented policies in different countries. Sure, there have been some efforts like the European Union's AI Act, which is a commendable step forward, but AI operates beyond borders, necessitating a broader perspective. The UN, with its commitment to global cooperation and peace, serves as a model for what we need in the realm of AI governance. Much like it brings nations together to address common challenges, a supranational entity for AI regulation could provide a platform for collaborative efforts, knowledge sharing, and the establishment of universal principles. The existing AI landscape raises concerns that demand a collective response. Instances of bias in AI algorithms leading to discriminatory outcomes are very well documented. The UN's success lies in its ability to facilitate diplomatic dialogues, set global standards, and mediate conflicts. Analogously, a supranational entity could serve as a neutral ground when nations can collaborate on ethical guidelines, share best practices, and address emerging challenges.
The comparison they drew was with the UN. My question to all of us is that do we have the right UN still? Do we have a UN where there is equal proportion of power allocated to everyone? Do we have a UN where Russia or China cannot veto out a particular decision? Do we have a UN where India has a very definitive and strong stance till date despite being one of the most respectable democracies in the world? And that is the question that we are primarily dealing with. That how a supranational entity might not be very necessary for us to have a robust AI regulation, but at the same time it might have certain detrimental practical and political effects when it comes into picture. I'll first deal with how there are existing regulations which are very well effective. There is the GDPR regulations in the EU, which is being portrayed as a model or as an inspirational model for a lot of other countries. Now, what they have done uniquely, they have captured a lot of problems which are common to all, but at the same time, they have integrated their own aspects which are particular to their country's citizens, which respect their own country's culture and their social fabric. It's very important to understand at this point that AI is so well deep-rooted in its interactions that it is beyond economical, political, environmental interactions. It is part of our social interaction, part of our cultural fabric. And that is where AI as a topic is not synonymous to environmental issues or even economic issues for that matter, that we make a trade bloc and do well with it.
In the interconnected world of artificial intelligence, a supranational entity is the compass needed to navigate the ethical and legal complexities that transcend borders. While the honorable leader of opposition argued that corporations and governments can effectively self-regulate, but a closer examination reveals that the complexities of AI necessitate a supranational entity to ensure responsible development and deployment. To begin with, the sheer scope and impact of AI technologies demand a comprehensive and globally coordinated approach to regulation. The capabilities of AI extend across borders, and its applications touch on myriad aspects of society, from healthcare, finance, to national security. In a world where multinational corporations operate seamlessly across jurisdictions, the AI systems are deployed globally. The fragmented regulatory landscape will be inherently educated. Therefore, a supranational entity would provide a unified framework that transcends geographical boundaries, ensuring a harmonized set of regulations that address the inherently global nature of AI.
It is a delicate dance between the government regulatories and the corporate responsibilities, the rhythm of whose accountability keeps the society and the country in harmony. And this is what I truly believe here. Whenever the countries and the governments and the corporates come together, they truly make the policies for their particular nation, and they privatize and not only personalize these policies according to the cultural, legal, and ethical frameworks of their particular country. But when we go ahead and talk about a supranational entity, we truly fail to understand that in a world where there are infinite conditions and situations, different legal proceedings, different ethical and economical proceedings going on, how can we have one particular one-size-fits-all policy? And that is truly, which is something an illusion. What supernatural power does is it makes a one-size-fits-all policy for all the nations in general. And why would it fail is what I'm going to put forth right now. One truly has to believe that when we go ahead and say that we are making fragmented policies, we fail to believe, or we fail to understand here by the government here, that it is not the fragmented policies that are being made. Rather, when a particular government or a particular corporate is making these particular policies, it is very finely tailored to what their country at this or at any particular situation needs. When India banned 300 or 100 Chinese apps, why did it do that? Because of the data transfer and because of the lack of security that India had at that point of time. Would a supranational entity would understand the nitty-gritties and the points of these particular things at any point of time? No, it would look at a rather big picture and fail to understand the small nuances that developing or underdeveloped countries which do not have such amazing and technological advancements as the developed countries might have, and they would definitely ignore.
After the riveting final debate, Rohan Bharadwaj and Dalia Thakkar of XLRI Jamshedpur clinched victory, showcasing exceptional oratory against the runners-up, Arushi Sharma and Vaishnavi Joshi from MDI Gurgaon. Arushi claimed the title of Best Speaker for the motion, and Rohan earned the distinction of Best Speaker against the motion, elevating the event's prestige. MaggieSpeak 2023 paid homage to Father McGrath, honoring his 6th decade of legacy at XLRI. The intellectual focus of the debate celebrated Father McGrath's passion for nurturing the young minds of the new generation.
So I really appreciate all the team. Everyone gave their best and addressed the topic. Thank you so much, and congratulations to all the members, the organizers. They worked very hard. I just came yesterday just to participate. So really thankful from XLRI Institute side. Thank you.
XLRI presents MaggieSpeak, 4th Father McGrath Memorial Program in association with CNBC TV 18.